Hello folks out there, it's my pleasure to introduce to you this series of our video, which is going to be the solution to the mathematics question for the West Africa Examination Council 2020 examination. Now, it's going to be a series in that for the first video, we'll be taking the first 10 questions, solution to the first part, which is the objective. And the next subsequent videos will be 10 until we end up solving the first 50 questions, that is for the objective. And be sure that we are going to give you the best of this solution, and be sure that you might be able to see any of these questions in the exam. So to cut the story short, we'll be looking at the very first question, question 1. You are asked to subtract this value from this value from this value, and then add this to that. Now let's go about the solution. The arrangement will be like this: 75.0785 minus 34.624. Now when we subtract this minus this will give us 5, this will give us 4, this will give us 5. You borrow 1 from here to this place, it makes it 10. 10 minus 6 will give us 4. 4 minus 4 will give us a 0. 7 minus 3 will give us what? 4. Now we are asked to add it to this value, that is 9.883. Now if we add that, this will give us 5, this will give us 4, this will give us 8, and this will give us 12. We'll carry 2, carry 1, this will give us 0, 0 plus 1, that will give us 1 plus 4 will give us 5. So our result is going to be 50 points. Remember, they say you should put your results correct to 2 decimal place. So the result will be 50.28. This is not up to 5. In a situation where this is up to 5, we approximate to make this 8, 9. So this is our answer to 2 decimal place. Did you get it? I hope you get it. Now let's look at question number 2. In question 2, you are given the value for x and you're given the value for y. X are numbers that are less than 7 and y is factors of 25, and they are all subjects of mu, which is a number from 1 to what? From 1 to 10. First of all, we need to find the values of x. Now to find the values of x, all we need to do is to find out that x is a number that is less than 7. From this being a subject of this is a subset of this, is a set in this, we will now know that our x will be 1, will be 2, will be 3, will be 4, will be 5, and what? And 6. Remember, they say there are numbers that are less than 7. That means 7 is not inclusive, but it is less than 7. So 6 is the last value for x. Now let's look for the values for y. Now we are asked to find the values of y. The values of y, they say, is the factors of 24. Now how can we find the factors of 24? When we have 24, 2 can go in 24 to give us 1 and 2. 2 will go to give us what? 6. Then 2 will go to give us 3. Then 3 will go to give us what? 1. Now, factors are any value that can divide a given value without a remainder. Now, let's find the factor of 24. 1 times what? 24 will give us 24. Now, let's see 2 times 12. Right, because this is a 2, then the remaining one is this. So 2 times what this will give us 24, right? The next thing we'll look at 3. 3 multiplied by 4 times 2, that is 8. 3 times 8 will give us 24. We are gradually finding the factors. Now the next thing we want to look at is 4. 4 can multiply this. 4 times 6 will give us 24, and I guess that is the final value. So all these are the factors of what? 24. So what are the factors of 24? Remember, they must be subjects in this set. So the factors of 24 we require is 1, 2, 3, 4, and what? And 6. These are the factors of 24 that is needed, that are within this set. Now the question says we should find x that are intercept of what? Y. Now x intercept of y means value that are common to both x and what? X and y. That is the intercept of a set. If this is x and this is y, the whole value found in this are the intercepts of what? X and y. So this shows values that are common to x and y. And what are those values? We have 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 4, and we have what? 6. So this is the solution for that question number 6. Do you have that question number 6? If I'm seeing that question number 6, then the right answer to that question is what? Is B. Right? Now let's look at question number 3. To simplify 16 over 9 raised to power minus 3 over 2 times 16 raised to power minus 3 over 4, all in bracket raised to power 1 over 3. Now when you are given this kind of question, especially when the powers has to do with fraction, all I will advise you to do is to reduce this value in such a way that they will be the same with the denominators of this fraction, so that you can be able to clear the denominator of that fraction to make your problems much simpler. Now let me show you how to do that. Now if you are given this kind of question, you found out now that in general 16 will give you 2 raised to power 3 will give you 16, because 2 times 2 times 2 times, no, that will not give you 16. 8 raised to power 2, 4 raised to power 2 is going to give you 16. Now 4 raised to power 2 is going to give you 16. That is what we want to reduce, because 4 times 4 will give us what? 16. Now the next one we are going to see is what? 3 raised to power 2 will give us 9. That is exactly what we want to do. Now as for this one, we're going to do 2 raised to power 4 will give us 16, because 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16. So we'll get those values. So in place of this, we'll put what? Our 4 square. Our 4 square over what? Our 3 square, all in bracket minus what? 3 over what? 2. Now multiplied by, in place of this we are going to put 2 raised to power 4 in bracket minus what? 3 over what? 4. All together will be 1 over what? 3. Now the next thing we want to do is to simplify further. If we simplify further, we are going to have 4 over 3 all in brackets 2 times what? Minus 3 over what? 2 multiplied by, this will give you 2 raised to power 4 times what? Minus 1, 3 over what? 4. All of this will be what? All raised to power minus 1 over 3. Then this will now easily cut this, and this will easily cut this. You see, by doing that, we have simplified the equation, the problems further. So this will now give us something like this. We'll have our what? 4 over 3 much simpler minus what? 3 multiplied by what? 2 raised to power what? 2 raised to power minus 3. Right? Then all of them will be raised to power 1 over what? 3. Now with this, we can possibly reduce the equation further. And to reduce this equation further, remember, anything raised to power minus 1 is still equal to 1 over what? 2. that will apply here. So this will give us what? 1 over 4 over 3, all in bracket raised to power 3, right, multiplied by 1 over 2 raised to power 3, right, all raised to power 1 over what? 3. Good. Now, so let's go further to simplify this further. Now, if we simplify that equation further, we are going to arrive at this divided by this. We are going to arrive at 1 divided by, let me simplify it so that you can be able to see what we are doing properly, right, multiplied by what? 1 over 2 raised to power 3, all in bracket what? 1 over what? 3. Now, if you simplify this further, we are going to have, if you simplify this further, we are going to have 1 times what? Times 3 all over 4, all raised to power what? 3, multiplied by what? 1 over 2 raised to power 3. I'm trying to simplify this as easy as I can for you to understand. Now, having gone to that point, all we need to do now is to have that to give us this value. 3 raised to power 3 all over 4, right? This times this, multiplied by what? 1 over what? 2 raised to power 3, all raised to power 1 over 3. Now, in mathematics, there is something we call, when you have something like 2 raised to power 1 over 3, is also equivalent to you having the root of what? The root of 2. We are going to apply that here. So for us to do this value, we are going to have this. This is the same thing as this. So we are going to have all of these to be what? Cube root of what? 3 raised to power 3 over what? The cube root of what? Remember, this is also in 3. The cube root of what? 4 raised to power all in power 3. Now multiply by 1 over the cube root of what? The cube root of what? 2 raised to power what? 3. All of this is gone. So cube root will cut cube root, cube root will cut cube root, the cube root here will cut cube root, and finally we'll have this as our what? 3 over 4 multiplied by 1 over what? 2. If we simplify this further, we are going to have our final solution to be what? 3 over what? Over 8. Now check it out. Did you find that solution there? If you do, that is the value. The answer should be what? C. So that is the solution to this question that we have here. So if you are given this kind of question, follow these few steps we have given and follow the principles that I've just highlighted to you. Once you follow that principle, you'll get the solution. Now let's look at question number 4. Question number 4 is a question that has to do with a topic, model in mathematics. Now, the question says, find the value of x which satisfies the equation 4x equal to 7 mod 9. Now, what does that mean? That simply means that this 7 will be added to 9, because this is a question that is frequently that frequently comes out in your WAEC. We are going to work things out in such a way that will give you a full video on this topic. If you subscribe to our channel, you're going to get a full video on this topic so that you know how to handle topics like this. Now, if you are given this topic, all you need to do simply is to find the value of x. Remember, they say you should find the value of x. X will be equal to 7. Mod means what? Mod means 9. 7 plus what? 9. So your 4x will now be equal to 7 plus 9 is what? 16. So your x now will be equal to 16 divided by 4. 16 divided by 4 is what? 4. So in that question, the solution to that question is D, because your x is equal to 4. Very easy. Now let's look at question number 5. The question says express 1 plus 2 log 3 base 10 in the form log q base what? 10. Now in solving this question, we are going to look at two laws in mathematics. The first law, we know that log of what? 10 base 10 is equal to what? 1. And another thing, when you have a log of what? A base 10 plus log of what? B base 10, remember it's going to give you a value, and the value is going to give you a log of what? 10 base what? A times what? B. That is because they have a common base. We are going to look at how we apply this in this question. Now in this question we are given 1 plus what? 2 log what? 3 base what? 10. Remember, log of 10 base 10 is equal to 1. So that will give us log of what? 10 base what? 10 base 10 plus what? 2 log 3 base what? 10. Now this will now give us equal to log of what? 10 base 10 plus what? Log of what? 3 raised to power 2 base what? Base 10. Now if we apply this rule here, you're going to see now that we will have a log of 10 into bracket what? 10 times 3 raised to power 2 is what? 9. So this will give us log of what? 10 base what? Base 90 base what? Base 10. And this will make this to be equal to this, because our q now will be equal to what? 90. You see, if you want more added value or more of these rules in logarithm, we have a full-blown video on logarithm in our channel. Try to check it out, watch it fully, and then you see how most of these laws of logarithms are being applied. Now let's look at question number 6. Number 6 is a question on number bases. You are asked to find if 101 base 2 plus 12 base y plus 23 base 5 is equal to 23 base 5. Find the value of y. Now in this instance, I will advise you, they are all of different bases. You will have to convert all of them to a common base, and that is base 10. Now when we go about converting all these to base 10, what is the reason? The reason why you must convert to base 10 is so that you can easily simplify them, because if they are on common base, then simplification can be very easy for you. Now let's look at how we go about them. We are going to convert 101 base 2 to base 10. Now I'm going to use what we'll call the continuous multiplication process. This is one of those processes I use when discussing number bases in-depthly in a full-blown video in our channel. If you haven't watched that video yet, go and watch it. It's there. Watch it to the end and you'll see how we apply the continuous multiplication method to make conversion from base 2 to base 10 very easy. Now let's go. We'll have our 1 times what? Times 2. That will give us 2. We'll add it to what? To 0. That will give us what? A 2. We multiply it by 2. That will give us what? We multiply it by, this is the 1, this is the 0. We multiply it by 2. That will give us a 4. Then we add it to this one. That will give us what? 5 base what? Base 10. Now, how do we go about this? This is the 0, this is this value, and this is this value. That is 101. So using this method is far faster compared to the other one. Now let's look at how we convert our 12 base y to this. This will give you 1 times what? Y plus what? 2 times what? Y. This will give you 0. This will give you 1. And this will give you your y plus what? Anything raised to power 0 is 1. So that will give you 2 times 1. That will give you 2. So our 12y will be equal to y plus what? Y plus 2. Now the final one to convert is our 23. We want to convert 23 in base 5 to base 10. Now if we do that, this will give us our 2 times what? 5 plus what? 3 times what? 5. This will give you 0 and what? 1. This times this will give us 10 plus anything raised to power 0 is 1. 3 times 1 will give you 3. So this to base this will give you what? 13 to base what? 10. Now bringing these values together, we have our 13 base 10, 5 base 10 and 4 plus 2 in base 10. Bringing them together, we'll have our what? For this we'll have our 5 plus y plus what? 2, right? That will be equal to what? 13. So 5 plus 2 will give you 7. 7 plus what? Y equal to what? 13. Then our y will be equal to 13 minus what? 7. Our y in that instance, 13 minus 7 will give us what? 6. So our value is 6. If you look at that question very well, the answer to that question is C. Now let's look at question number 7. Question number 7 says, an amount 550,000 naira was realized when a principal X was saved at 2% simple interest for 5 years. Find the value of X. Now this is a question that borders on simple interest, and remember, you aren't giving the principal, you're only giving the amount. So what are the parameters that are given? That's the first question you ask yourself. We are given our principal, which is equal to X. We are given our rate, which is equal to what? 2%. We are given our years, our time, which is equal to 5 years, and then an amount. The amount is what? 550,000 naira. Now the principal, the interest is what we don't know, but we need to find the interest. Simple, the interest. Now the interest is what? Because when we get the interest, we can be able to find the amount. Why? Because amount of any simple interest is equal to the what? The principal plus the what? Plus the interest. Now when you go to a bank and you deposit an amount of money, it accumulated the interest. The amount you're going to get, the amount you've deposited is the principal. After some years, the amount you're going to get is the principal plus the what? Plus the interest. So let's look at how we can find the interest before we can apply this straight equation. Now the interest, we know that our simple interest is equal to the principal rate what? Times time over what? Over 100. Now the interest will now be, the principal is X times the rate times the what? Time, which is 5, all over what? Over 100. Now this will give us what? 10 what? X over what? Over 100. If we simplify this further, 10x over 100, we are going to have this will cut this. We are going to have our final value to be x over what? X over 10. That is our interest. So our interest is equal to what? X over what? 10. Now remember this equation. Our amount is what? 500 and what? 50,000 is equal to, the principal is X plus what? The interest is now what? X over what? 10. So we're going to simplify this. Once we can simplify this, we'll be able to get our answer. Remember, they say we should find the value for what? Find the value of X. Now let's go ahead to look for the value of X. Our 500 and what? 50,000 will now be equal to, if you simplify this, we are going to have 10 here. 10 divided by 1 will give us 10. 10 times x will give us 10x plus 10 divided by 10 is 1 plus what? X. So what we will have here is what? 11x over what? 10. Now let's simplify this. This will give us 11x over what? 10. Now when we cross multiply, that is what we are going to do. We are going to have our what? Our 550,000 multiplied by 10 equal to what? 11 what? X. Now we are looking for the value of what? Of x. Now this will just simply add 0 to this. So that will give us 500 and what? That will give us 550,000 and what? 0. That will give us a what? 5 million equal to what? 11x. Then our x now is now going to be equal to, our x now is going to be equal to 550,000 divided by what? 11. That is what our x will do. Now if you use your calculator to divide this, or better still, we can divide this. 11 here will give us 1, 11 in this will give us what? 5. So our x now will now be equal to what? 500,000.00. So that will give us what? 500,000 naira. That is the solution. So if you have that question with you, if you have seen that question with you, the correct answer to that option is what? Option D. Now do you see how we solved it? Now let's look at question number 8. Number 8 is a question on sword, and it says given that root 3 plus root 5 over root 5 is equal to x plus y root 15, find the value of x plus what? X plus y. Now this is a question on sword, and for us to get the equivalent of this value, so as to get the exact value of x and y, we need to rationalize this sword. If you want question on a full-blown video on sword has been produced and it's in our channel, you can go watch that video and see what it entails in rationalizing sword and how you can find the rationalization of most of these swords as you see them, how you can rationalize sword, even swords with conjugate. Now let's solve this. Now if we rationalize that value, rationalization simply means multiplying the denominator, which is an irrational number, a sword, by the numerator and the what? And the denominator. So rationalizing the sword will give us what? Will give us this. We'll have our root 3 plus what? Root what? 5 multiplied by what? Root what? 5 divided by what? Root what? 5 multiplied by what? Root 5. Now if we multiply this, we are simply going to get this value. This times this will give us root what? Root 15 plus root 5 times root 5 is going to give us 5. Why? Because in sword, root b times what? Root b will give you what? B. That is that. That's the rule in sword. So this will give you all over 5. Root 5 times root 5 will give us 5. So this value will now give us simply root what? 15 divided by 5 plus what? 5 divided by what? 5. So that will give me what? 1 over 5 times root what? 15 plus what? Plus 1. Now in this instant, if we check this with this value, we have now gotten the solution as what? 1 over 5 root what? Root 15 plus what? 1. Now let's compare it with what? Let's compare it with x plus y root what? Root 15. Now you come to find out that from this value, your x here is equal to 1 and your y is equal to 1 over what? 5. Now simply what they want you to do is to find the value of x plus what? Y. Now x plus y will give us 1 plus what? 1 over what? 5. Now simplify. This will be over 1. 5 divided by 1. Now let's do it properly so that you see what I'm doing. We'll have our 1 divided by 1 plus what? 1 over what? 5. 5 will be the LCM. 5 divided by 1 will give you 5. 5 times 1 will give you 5. Plus 5 divided by 5 will give you 1. 1 times 1 will give you what? 1. So your final solution will give you what? 6 divided by what? By 5. Now if you check that solution is not there, now you simplify further. That will give you one whole number, 1 over what? 5. You change it to what? To a mixed fraction. And that will give you one whole number, 1 over 5. If you check it properly, you will see the answer there. And the solution to that question is what? Is C. You get it? Now as I told you, you want a full-blown video on this topic, check our channel. We have a video there so that you can come to know all the rules that guides what? The solutions of solve. Now let's look at question number 9. We are progressing gradually. Question number 9. If x is equal to 3 and y is equal to minus 1, you are asked to evaluate 2 into bracket x squared minus y raised to power 3. Now this question is meant to evaluate your ability on the multiplication of signs. Remember, in mathematics we know our minus times minus to be equal to what? Plus. Plus times minus to be equal to minus, minus times plus to be equal to minus, and plus times what? Plus to be equal to what? Plus. So this question is meant to test that your ability in manipulating what? Signs. Now let's solve. Now we are asked to evaluate this. So we have our 2 into bracket x is 3. That will give us 3 raised to power what? 2 minus y. Y is what? Minus 1. So that will give us minus 1 raised to power what? 3. All what? Close bracket. So this will give us what? 2 into bracket 2 raised to power 3 is what? 3 raised to power 3 is what? 3 times 3, which is 9. 9 minus. Now here comes where the work is. We'll have our minus 1 times what? Minus 1. That will give you minus times minus will give you plus 1. Now multiply it with another minus 1. Minus times plus will give you what? Minus 1. So your result here, minus 1 raised to power 3, is still going to give you minus what? 1. Then you close what? You close your bracket. Gradually we have our 2 into bracket 9. Minus times minus will give us plus 1. So 2 into bracket what? This plus this will give us 10. So our evaluation will now give us 2 times 10, which is equal to 20. Now if you check that solution, you are going to see your 20. Your answer is what? C. Now you see, learn how to play along with the multiplication of your sign. If you do that, you're going to solve questions like this in just a jiffy. Now let's look at the final question for today, question number 10. Solve 3x minus 2y equals to 10 and x plus 2y equal to 7 simultaneously. Now, if you have read or studied very hard, you'll come to find out that we have 3 methods of solving simultaneous equation: the substitution method, the elimination method, and the solution using Cramer's rule, which is more like matrices and determinants, if you can do that. I did it in one of our full-blown video, which I want you to go and find out. The video is under determinants and matrices. Now we're going to look at the solution of this, and we're going to use the elimination method, which I feel is the fastest method for solving this kind of question. Now if we have this value, we have our 3x minus what? 2y equal to what? 10, and we have our x plus what? 3y equal to what? 7. This is our equation 1, and this is our equation what? 2. So simply what we're going to do in order for we to eliminate these values for y, we are simply going to make sure that we multiply equation 1 by 3 and equation what? 2 by what? By 2. Now let's do that. When we do that multiplication, this times this will give us 9x minus this times this will give us 6y equal to this times this will give us what? 30. We'll have that as our equation what? 3. Now this times this will give us 2x plus this times this will give us 6 what? Y equal to this times this will give us 14, and we'll have that as our equation what? 4. Now if you come to see this, you come to see now that the two values for y are the same and they can be eliminated, and that is why we call this method the elimination method. Now having gotten to this point, we are going to bring about an instruction, and the instruction is what? Add equation what? Add equation 3 to what? To equation what? To equation 4. Now if we add equation 3, why are we adding? Because when we add these two values, we are going to get what? 0. Now imagine where you have minus 6 plus brackets plus 6. Plus times plus will give you plus, so we'll have minus 6 plus 6, and you know minus 6 plus 6 will give you what? 0. So we are adding these two equations so as to make sure that this is delegated to what? To 0. So we are going to have a 0 here. So this plus this will give us what? 11 what? X equal to this plus this will give us what? 44. So from here our x now will now be equal to what? 44 divided by 11, which is equal to what? 4. Now having gotten to this point, we've come to see that our x is equal to 4. Now for we to finally solve this question, we need to substitute the value of x, which is equal to 4, into any of this equation. Now take note, you are doing that because these are the two equations you are given. These ones are just additional equation you formulated by multiplying with a given parameter. So the instruction we are going to give is what? Substitute x equal to 4 into what? Equation what? Into equation 2. Now equation 2 is x plus 3y plus what? 7. So our x now will now be 4. 4 plus what? 3y equal to what? 7. Now this 4 we go this way, we'll have our 3y to be equal to 7 minus what? 7 minus 4. So what that will simply give us is what? 3y equal to what? 3. So our y now will now be equal to 3 divided by 3. Y will be equal to what? 1. So simply working on this, we've come to find out that our x is equal to 4 and our y is equal to 1. If you do that very well, we are going to arrive at what? D. D will be the solution for that question number 10. We thank you so much for your attention you've given to the solution of the first 10 questions for the Mathematics 2020 WAEC examination question. The next video, I want you to watch out for the next video where we'll be looking at question number 11 to 20. Don't fail to subscribe to this channel so that you can be able to get a glimpse of this past question, answers to this past question when we does produce them. I remain Andy, your anchor on this channel, and I look forward to seeing you watch our video next time. Thanks for watching.